Zero.
There it is. All right, John, I see no asking questions and giving you answers. You know all the answers?
I think so.
Okay.
So, one of the questions is what can we do to clean up the voter rolls? So that comes from the state board of elections.
Can you send it
So
to me,
the state board of
the
elections
place
need
or whatever, so I can?
to work
Oh,
on that.
okay, I really appreciate it.
I know that they have in the past, tried to.
Okay, thanks a lot.
To work on that, and that they will continue to do that. You know, the one thing is it's kind of hard, to figure out who's there and who's not. I don't know if there's a way to, you know, there are ways to figure that out, but, I guess you gotta have a balancing act on the thing. You don't wanna take somebody off that is supposed to be on, and you certainly don't want somebody that's on, that's voting, or, you know, that's not allowed to vote. So, the State Board of Elections, your Secretary of State, who's a Republican, needs to work on that. I think he has aspirations to run for governor as well, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. So then you have, policy. You know, you have these elections and all this stuff. What about policy? One of the questions is, what about dissolving the Department of Education, the U.S. Department of Education? And that's going to be up to Trump. That's one of the things that's been talked about. You return it to the states. What is the role of education in the U.S. Department of Education? So it's going to be an interesting thing to see how that policy plays out. There are a number of policies. The border policy, what's going to happen there? Who gets nominated for those roles? You know, Trump has already started to announce, you know, as of yesterday, this last week, some of his picks. Marco Rubio, the U.S. Senator from Florida, for Secretary of State. There are a number of policy things, and we'll see how that goes. It's always interesting. I was talking to my friend, best friend, about like, hey, are they going to have these policy changes? Things take time to happen, so it's going to be interesting to see if Trump can. He's only got one term. Is he going to be able to get it all done in one term? Is there going to be a successor to that person again? So. Somebody says, governor of future, and I don't know if they're talking about me or they're talking about who's going to run for governor in Kentucky. Jamie Comer from Western Kentucky ran for governor, got beat in Republican primary by Matt Bevin, who ended up getting beat 4 years later in the general election as a Republican, and we ended up with Andy Beshear for 2 terms. Jamie Comer has made a name for himself in Washington. Might like to move back to closer to home in Frankfurt, so that could be a name. Like I said, our Secretary of State, Michael Adams, has talked about that, so there's going to be a lot of Republicans on that side. Interesting to see who the Democrats are going to put up. Are they going to be able to put up somebody that had the popularity of Andy Beshear, the name of Andy Beshear, to be able to run for that? I don't think I have enough money to run for governor, so I would love to be governor. I love the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and that, but don't foresee that in my future. And then I got a question from Art. Am I running again? And that's always up in the air. You know, this last election cycle, we had somebody that was the current incumbent, kind of wore out his time in office, if you will, and I don't want to be that person. So we need to see if that would be President Biden. That was referring to. I think most of America saw what happened. I don't think I'm senile at this point, but I think there's a time and a place for when you need to decide when you're done with office. I don't think that these are lifetime appointments. That's why we have elections, and that. But I still like what I'm doing, but I don't know if that's another 6 years down the road. We'll have to see how
you got your head on straight.
It plays out. So, you know, like I said, I ran for office as a public service I didn't want to be a politician, I wanted to make a difference, and I think we have. I have a great team. I've got a great wife that's let me to do that. She's here today. And so,
Let's have a rah-rah for the wife there.
and I've always said the biggest problem that we've had, or the biggest issue for people are the spouse and the family of the candidate. They're always the one that has to take all the thing and have the, see all the heartache and all the stuff that goes into campaigning. So you need to support those spouses of candidates, the husbands and wives that are out there, and the kids that have to do that. So I think that's about it on the questions. We'll be back for maybe next year. Yes.
Okay, can I just ask, can you mention the new department that Chuck is making with 5X Ramaswamy and Stephen Miller?
Really?
Yeah, it's government efficiency, so the
Yes.
question was about new department, government efficiency. It's Vivek Ramaswamy. And then Elon Musk, that was another
Yeah.
very interesting thing. He's gonna be in that. But I think Forbes named him one of the top influential business people in America, which maybe should be one of the top political influencers in America too. Did he have some say in that presidential election? It might be, especially among the young men. I think those folks were excited about him and what he's done with all the SpaceX and Tesla and all those things. So very interesting. But thank you again for the opportunity. I always love talking about elections, and I'm always willing to talk about that at any time. And have a great optimistic week. And we'll see you.
Great week.
Yeah, it's Super Bowl, she had 10-year-olds. There, oh yeah. We've got the stickers on the back. That's cute.
I lost my cable, I did have this.